It was 3 o'clock. The day was declining under a gray and snowy sky, and the return route to be followed by the Emperor was a good deal longer. By the route to Parvis and the route to Marchineuf, they were to reach the route de la Barrerie, which ran in front of the Palais de Justice, and which, by its continuation, the Rue Saint-Barthélemy and the Pont au Change. Thence they would gain the Rue Saint-Denis by the Pass du Châtelet and enter the busiest and most populous quarters. They would turn to the left at the boulevard and following it from end to end up the Rue Impériale and the Place de la Concorde. They would re-enter the Tuileries by the Pont Tournant and the Garden. The streets, particularly the Rue Saint-Denis, were decorated and made beautiful. No flags were displayed in those days, but tapestry was hung out, as is still done, on the passing or procession in certain countries. This made a surprising but pleasant diversity. The rich had hired hangings and displayed tapestry at every window. The less wealthy had brought out Indian cloths, which everyone had in some odd corner, straw mats and Genoese stuffs. The poor had emptied their linen cupboards and hung out their bed sheets stuck with twigs of pine. The whole street had a holiday appearance. Lamps were lit on the different floors. In the attics flickered the lights of candles, 6s cut into 4. The cavalry escorted the pages, and the footmen carried the 500 torches, which had just been distributed. It was 5 o'clock, and Paris had dined. As this tongue of fire crept into the heart of the town, it was received with a continual thundering of cheering. The smiling emperor and empress saluted with an air of recognition and affection. One eyewitness, a partisan of both the Bourbons and the anarchists, for there were many who embraced the prejudices of black and red alike, wished to explain away the stamping and hubbub which went on around him at the sight of the sacred carriage, refusing to see in this tokens of joy and signs of love, but only the movement and expression of an intense curiosity which had at last attained its object, and which, far from being disappointed, had more than realized its expectation. This witness is valued before he criticizes. Too few torches. It might have been taken for a funeral or an execution by night. The cult distorted the faces above all. There was no music, but he admits the cries which pierced the ear and a tumultuous movement. Even when following the procession, he reached the boulevard. He was overcome with the beauty of the scene. Everything there was lit up by 2 rows of lampstands, stars and orange trees placed at intervals of 10 paces and joined from one side of the road to the other by wreaths of colored lights. The Trompe-l'oeil was as though roofed with diamonds, topazes, and rubies. At the Port Saint-Denis there was an enormous star which shone a coronated end. At the Place de la Concorde stood an illuminated obelisk supporting a 5-rayed star, 25 feet in diameter. The guard mobile was lit up with lights between the columns. There was a long perspective of the illuminations on the banks of the Seine, from the Invalides to the Prefecture of Police. The architecture of the Tuileries was outlined with illuminations. In the gardens were columns, triumphal arches, gabled lampstands, tubs for orange trees, lamps, colored glasses, and earthenware light stands. 13,118 francs were paid for masonry, 3,283 francs for terracing, 1,188 francs for general works, 25,840 francs for carpentry, 6,000 francs for ironwork, 17,729 francs for glazing, 49,000 francs for lighting, 1,176 francs for painting, 9,000 francs for paving, gardening, and supervision. All of these official illuminations for the glorification of Napoleon were not worth the stump of one of the 6s which a small tradesman lighted and put in the window of his attic in the Rue Saint-Denis, and which flickered and went out in the evening when... Chapter 7. The morning of the coronation, Napoleon re-entered the Tuileries. He dined alone with Josephine, bidding her, with the playfulness of a happy lover, to keep on her crown, which suited her so well. He was delighted with his day and complimented the ladies of the court. Ah, ladies, it is to me that you should show yourselves charming. He displayed no penetrating emotion, no awe at having evoked the mystery of kingship, no distrust with regard to the future, only a somewhat shallow satisfaction that the pomp should have been so magnificent, and that everyone should have played his part so well. He was not wearied or tired of ceremonies. On the contrary, he wished for more and more. On the morrow was to be the popular festival at which he would not appear There were to be salvos fired. At the 6 in the morning, the parade of breaks full of musicians. After 11 o'clock, a grand concert at midday in front of the Tuileries with an ascent of gilded fire balloons. Dancing on the Place de la Concorde and the boulevard sideshows. Greasy poles, roundabouts, illuminations, and fireworks. Nothing appropriate except the parade of the heralds at arms through the town and the scattering of handfuls of coronation medals. On one side of the medal was the laurel wreathed head of Napoleon. On the other, the emperor raised upon the shield by the populace and army. The emperor, it had been said, will be crowned at the Invalides, raised on the shield at the Champ de Mars, and consecrated Notre Dame. This was the last trace of the elevation. These medals were 14 millimeters in diameter, and there was scattered 75,000 in silver, each worth 40 centimes, amongst which were some of gold worth 8 francs. 12,000 of these little gold coins were distributed to the Imperial Guard. The emperor had at first thought of giving to every soldier in the army a large-sized bronze medal, and for this purpose he would have wanted 400,000. But he altered his intention. The total expense, estimated at 100,000 francs, had already reached 229,642 francs, 40 centimes.